Oh yeah, man. People been running around telling wrestling stories, man. Like wrestlers are out here telling stories again. I mean, it's great. I love it, man. But I saw people talking about, man, did you see Greg the Hammer Valentine, man? He was talking about the old days. I'm like, I didn't see it, but I see his name pop up a lot on there. And I was telling my buddy about it. He was like, man, you gotta make a video on that, Cena. And don't make it Patreon. Oh man, you save all the good stuff for Patreon. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. But no, you can have this story. I mean, it's not a real big story. But when the Hammer Valentine was wrestling, when they were coming up, he was one of the, I would say, he was the man at that time. Like, he was one of the feature wrestlers coming up in the game when he was tag team champions or tag team partners with Ric Flair. And this is before Rick decided to, go solo and run for the heavyweight title. This is before Four Horsemen and all that. They were doing their thing over there. And Flair and Valentine were, really good friends. I mean, they were so close that when Rick was married, with his wife, and he's got a kid now. He would leave out. He moved over there like right by Valentine. Like Valentine lived probably about 2 blocks away from Flair. Rick would go over to to Valentine's house and kick it all night long because it was nothing but partying going on over there, 24/7. So Greg the Hammer Valentine, like they used to call him the Hammered. You know, him, Hogan, because they were down in near Florida at this time, and when he went to move to Florida, they claim, oh, well, they moved to Florida because it's easy to commute to New York. It's only a 2-hour flight, and when you got all most of your matches in New York City, this is what's gonna be happening. Yeah, that's yes and no yes. You could have lived in New York if that was the case. They lived in Florida because of the weather. It's nice and warm. You could wear your shorts and you could be outside. You could relax. Plus, cocaine was a big part of their everyday. It was the wrestlers' aspirin back then. And doing that in New York City and being caught with it in New York City was way more penalized than if you were in Florida. You might have to share it if you get caught in Florida. So living in Florida gave you a little bit more freedom. In other words, now here's the thing: Hogan wanted to come down there because Hogan couldn't. He was Valentine taught him and Beefcake really how to wrestle. They had Pat Patterson and all these other guys who were down there who was helping out in Florida. Most of the Florida guys, that's the thing. They don't know how to wrestle, and so Valentine was definitely right about that. Those dudes couldn't wrestle too much, and all they didn't know arm bars, wrist locks, or any of those things. They just know slams and tosses. That's basically all they were really taught. The Midwest was where the wrestling circuit thrived, where the real wrestlers were, those Minnesota camps. So, anyhow, things start to turn around and make changes to, like the way the system is going, the way everybody like looks at, the standards of how you should move in situations such as this. They kind of stayed reserved, and wrestlers were falling by the wayside, and guys are partying way too much. So Hogan, Flair, and Valentine were all hanging out, doing the AWA days and all of these times the 80s are starting to hit. And one thing that Greg didn't say, which I knew he wouldn't say in an interview, is he's a swinger. Him, Ric Flair, and Hogan are swingers, or were swingers. I don't know what they are today, but they were swingers. And when you're swinging and rolling with swingers, this is the results. These are the results. So Hogan would often mess around with, because Linda, Hogan's wife, is a sex addict. She has to have it like all the time. She's consistently has to have it. And now, early in Hogan's career, he didn't care. You know, she's got he was all into that. He gets to mess around with his friends' wives, and she messes around with the husband, and that's that. Greg the Hammer and Linda definitely didn't got it on. And Hogan has definitely hit Julie. Flair's hit Julie, and definitely married. He married her Julie's friend. Who was another one that swung with Flair. Flair ended up marrying her while he was still married. He left his wife for this wife. I think this was wife number 2 before he divorced this one. But that's what they did. They did drugs and got crazy and did these type of things. Swinging, baby. Yeah, Hogan would bring over his guitar, sit there, play some tunes, and some old soft acoustic things, and he would sing, and everybody else would be singing songs. Hogan was a big 300-pound hippie. That was him, surfboard hippie, smoking his pot, doing his blow, and chilling. Easy vibe, Hogan. So now Valentine they called Johnny. It was Johnny, like his father. His father's Johnny Valentine, the wrestler. He was known as Johnny Valentine Jr. before he became Greg the Hammer. So, but people still call him Johnny or Valentine. That's what they normally call him. So Valentine or Greg the Hammer, he was just always a good dude. As a wrestler, he was great. As far as the moves, his thing was the monologues. His monologues weren't that great, him selling it. But as far as the wrestling and techniques in the ring, he was great at what he did. Him and Tito Santana, the feuds he's had with them, he was great in tag teams and in the ring. He's skilled. He used that shin guard, to turn it for this figure 4 leg lock. Because him and Flair, they're the figure 4 masters. Those are the guys who like mastering the figure 4 leg lock. So, yeah, there's a lot of partying going on, buddy. This is the wild cowboy days, but all of them were swinging. Hogan and Linda, Flair and his girls, everybody's just swinging and bouncing around, and it was crazy. I mean, not dude on dude, but everybody's switching with each other's spouses, like trading spouses. So, what's his name? Julie's sister is married to the other one, Brian Soggs. I mean, what's that? Knobs. I mean, Brian Knobs from the Nasty Boys. That's another one. That, like, I think that's Hogan's cousin, Hulk Hogan's cousin, and he's married to Valentine's wife, sister. It's all one big family, man. They all swing. But the only thing is now people learned about Hogan. They know about the wife now, so you know she's messing around with her son's best friend. She's Linda was something else, and the Ultimate Warrior exposed it, to the world that Hogan tried to get him to, go in there and get him a taste. Like, hey, it's all good, brother. It's all good, brother. You can go in there and sample the goods. He's like, sample the goods? I don't want to sample no goods. And they tried to do that with Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man. That's why they was trying to warm up to them so they can get. But they knew Randy Macho Man Savage was crazy. He's the Macho Man when they say cut, when they say action. He's Randy the Macho Man Savage. That's it. So that's just that. So they knew not to mess with Liz. Liz, in that way, no, you don't mess with Liz. Because if something goes left, you know, Randy's going to hold everybody responsible and go crazy. So that's not somebody they would even think about doing that with. They was trying to warm, you go for the softest person in that situation. So they try to get Liz, more involved and everything. So that's that. Oh man, Macho Man was crazy. Macho Man done beat up so many fans. I mean, you mess with Macho Man, shoot, you gonna get the real beat down. He ain't play. Man, he was gonna take this one dude out on Venice Beach. Nah, let me not go there. Let me not bring that up. Anyway, I might do that on a Patreon or something. But yeah, let me not go bring that one up. Oh yeah, we still got that beef between Stone Cold and Macho Man coming. Because I never did it, but I told you I was gonna do it. But yeah, I'm gonna do it. Not today, but it'll be done. So anyway, that's it. I'm gonna get out of here and get the day rolling. I'm out.